All right, we got three remaining teams that still need their questions asked and answered here on today's show. Louisville, Virginia Tech, and Virginia all have a slew of 355 model games. We'll talk about which those are, but more importantly than that, are they going to give us anything? Is there going to be any judge? We know that they are people who have some relation besides Tony Elliott to their respective schools, but can they bring out the best in them? We'll answer all of that here on today's show.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, and joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. I almost couldn't get my own name out, but that's fine because you know it well here. If you are familiar with the show, we talk about the ACC every single day. We are back in full swing with full episodes every time you see us. We know that we're giving you some good news, some fun stories, and great analogies, all the like. Kenton, how we feeling?
I'm feeling great as always. We got through the pods. Baby. And fun fact. Do you know what animal, when it travels in groups, is called pods?
Turtles.
Whales.
Close.
Whales travel in pods. And, we got
I heard the whales is jumping these days.
I was just about to say, the whales are out here attacking things.
Sea lions?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean.
They was attacking people, literally.
Well, sea lions aren't whales, but I get you.
But I'm saying, you know what? I'm not doing this today.
I get where you go.
My whole point was saying, like, the animals are attacking, and like, it's been like a whole thing.
Oh yeah, the orcas been out here sinking boats. The sea lions out here just chilling on beaches and disturbing things. Yeah, these animals been animaling real hard lately.
I know a sea lion ain't no damn whale now. Come on.
All right, well, R.I.P. Steve Earle. Spin back for Steve. Anytime you see a stingray, get him out of there. Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to talk about going off topic? Louisville, Georgia Tech, Miami, and Virginia will face off against each other this season. So we'll talk about the Louisville-Virginia matchup potentially here. But we also have to go through Virginia Tech, who will face off against Pitt, Virginia, and Wake Forest. And then Virginia, who faces off against Louisville, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech. So there's a lot to discuss. Commonwealth things, Louisville things, Brown things, all the fun stuff that we're rocking and rolling here on today's show. So make sure you strap on that seatbelt and get ready to get in the pods, the non-whales, whatever Kenton wants to talk about these days. Let's start with Brom and the boys. Okay. You used to have the Fighting Satterfields if you've been a fan of this show. Okay. Now you've got Brom and the boys. What will they do for us this season now that they have a coach that was clearly the only problem that they had, correct?
Satterfield saved his job and got a new one. Love that for him. Hilarious. But you know what, though?
He recruited his tail off.
It seemed to work out. It seemed to work out for all parties. Satterfield gets to go where he's happy. Brom gets to come back and get out of Indiana and, at Purdue. And, Louisville seems to be extremely pleased with the hire. They seem to love them some Brom. They go up for Brom.
I think they love him because he loves them. And Satterfield made it very plain that he was not attached to forever going to stay at Louisville. So I think you have these fandoms who say, if you're not buying in to stay forever, go on about your way.
Well, I think 9 times out of 10, if you're not an alumni of that school, you don't really, you know what I mean? Like
different allegiance.
Yeah, Brown played under Howard Schnellenberger, one of the most decorated coaches in Louisville history. And,
Did he play at Papa John's Arena?
No. It wasn't Papa John's when he played. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Papa John's field back when he was on that grid. I don't even think Papa John's existed back. Did Papa John's exist back then? Never mind. I'm sure they did. But
I think Papa John might have been a student back then. It could have been student John.
Maybe he could have just been Johnny. Oh, Johnny Shatner, as you know. But back to Brown, back to Coach Brown. Okay, and he got his little brother on the staff too. Both of those Browns meant so much to Louisville. I remember watching Brian. Like it was yesterday, man. What a quarterback he was. But this is a Louisville team that has a lot of hype, a lot of optimism. Everybody knows what they're going to give you defensively. Yeah. Everybody, however, was worried about the offensive side of the ball, especially losing Malik Cunningham. But when you bring in an offensive mind like Brown, they have confidence that everything's going to work out.
I definitely think there's confidence. I will say they would be giving me hesitation if I saw a team like Purdue get beat like Syracuse in the way they got beat. That certainly didn't give me hope that, they'd bring some spice or new energy to Louisville. But I feel as if, what's exciting about Louisville right now is the lack of expectations for, but what's also exciting is that you feel as if we finally found the missing piece of the puzzle, which is, the head coach. However, Demond, who is the starting quarterback? Who's going to lead us to greatness? Who's in the backfield? Because Keitrell Clark, where is he? Not there. Okay. When it comes to receiving core, like who is going to be the people he's throwing to? Might have to throw somebody.
So we asking the questions. We asking the questions here. Yep.
I just need to know what the offense is going to look like if you're bringing in such an offensively sound mind.
And even beyond that, I mean, if we're talking that offense, Jahar Jordan was a breakout back for them last year, produced massively. He's probably expected to take on an even bigger role this year. Who's going to be handling the ball?
Very good question.
Who's going to be handling the ball? Offensive line. They were one of the best offensive lines in the nation 2 years ago. Last year seemed to take a little bit of a step back. Are y'all coming back? Which one are we getting? Which Louisville offensive line are we getting? So, there's a lot of questions to be had here on the offensive side of the ball. And I think the biggest one is, can Brown do? Is he the miracle worker? Is he the Mr. Fix-It offensively that people believe he is? Because if he is, I think Louisville's ceiling is, the ceiling Papa John's.
Okay.
Papa John's is going to be filled with more than just a little bell pepper in the box. If they mess around, or banana pepper.
There we go.
Banana pepper in the box. I'm a big boy now. I'm going to know me some Papa John. I know about.
We know you love a garlic. You ain't never seen the garlic sauce. You ain't like.
Hello? Hold on now. You talk about language. But yeah, that it's a very simple equation for them. If the offense can come along, we already know what their defense is, and so we'll see.
We are so fat on this show. All we do is talk about food, and that is hilarious to me, but that's fine. That's really, really fine. All right, we're going to talk about our friends here at LinkedIn because, listen, if you're trying to LinkedIn
jobs.
LinkedIn, don't link on, LinkedIn. Whatever you got to do, lock down. Okay, these days, every new potential hire can feel like high-stakes wages for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Go to LinkedIn Jobs to help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. Kenton Gibbs, we're talking through Virginia Tech, Louisville, all the teams that they will face this season. Louisville, again, will be facing off against Georgia Tech, Miami, and Virginia. So let's get to this Virginia team who will face off against Louisville, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech. After watching your shorts, I just here to say my question is there any energy in Charlottesville? Is there any hope in Charlottesville?
They have a young man by the name of Chico Bennett.
Okay.
And he is the energy there. He is a massive part of the hope there. But with that being said, they need somebody else to come along with them. Losing Fentrell Cypress was a gut punch. It was a gut punch. That's a tough loss, especially losing them in conference. Ooh, nasty work. Just downright nasty work. But you got to move on. You've got to figure it out. You've got to find a way to get wins without them. And, this is a team that's been through a lot. And the reality is this is a team that the silver lining for this team is they have so many questions. I think the only answer is starting quarterback, which we all know will be Tony Muskett, Monmouth transfer. But here's the beauty in being that way. If teams don't know what to expect, they don't know what to expect. If teams don't know what your strength is, they don't know, like, oh man, we've seen Tony Muskett and Tony Elliott's offense, and we know that he likes to do this, and this.
Could this be And I know this is out there. So don't get the panties in a bunch. Don't jump me. Don't even get emotional. For Dabo and Trevor Lawrence, could Tony Muskett be that for Tony Elliott? All right. I throw it out there. Maybe it's just, this young man, he's gonna groom him up, he's gonna sink him right, and we're just gonna be Heisman on the way.
I don't believe in using the word blasphemy outside of a religious setting. I truly don't. Not really.
Could this be the guy that no one saw coming, MJ Moore type season, remains healthy, and Muskett is just who Tony needed to remind y'all who he was?
Okay. I mean, I'll tell you this. This is what I mean by they have so many questions. The starting quarterback is answered. Quick question, Candace. Who's their wide receiver number 1?
Dontayvion Wicks isn't walking through that door, so I'm not sure.
I mean,
I have to do my homework.
And again, and I hate to talk about this. I hate it because I don't like talking about this on there. The tragedy was unfortunate. It took one of the best receivers that had been in UVA in quite some time. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that he was a better young man than he was a player, but Lavelle Davis, freak of nature.
Well, here's hoping that, that wide receiver group, is inspired by, the situation and uses that as motivation in their day to day.
Hopefully, but you still need some talent. Like you can be as motivated as you want to be, but at some point in time, rubber meets road, plays must be made.
Yeah, we got to talk to some of our news friends out in Virginia to see what it's looking like. Because if you told us right now and asked us right now where they're finishing, I definitely would give you last place.
And I think that would be a question for this team more than anything. Can you avoid dead last place?
Who would get last place if they did it?
Well, I don't know. Potentially a team that we're about to talk about here. It's a tough time for the Commonwealth, ladies and gentlemen. It's a tough time in college
between
football
Louisville and Virginia. Who do you give the nod to?
Louisville. It's not close. I don't think it's particularly close.
I was trying to dress it up sexy, but sometimes it can't be sexy, and that's just the nuts and bolts of it. But as we move along here to Virginia and Virginia Tech, you did mention the battle of the last place could be between the Commonwealth, and it could be Virginia Tech, as they have a very tough season and road ahead of them. Can they find 4 or 5 wins? That's all I need from you.
Coach Fry is very interesting. Very interesting character.
He's just high energy.
Yeah,
he's high on life.
Yeah, for sure.
He definitely drinks. He drinks coffee with caffeine like times 10, like a Celsius coffee espresso combo.
If you're drinking a Celsius coffee espresso,
what is the Cuban coffee? I think he drinks Cuban coffee.
Your heart is never mind. We're not even gonna go there today. But I'll tell you this much: Pry, very interesting personality and all that good stuff. Who's your starting quarterback? Who's your QB boy?
Who asked that at ACC Media Day, and what did he say?
Well, he said that he didn't know who his starting quarterback was, and that he was expecting a good competition heading into camp. So,
well, when you would love to say when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, but if you have 0, actually,
you literally have none. Yeah, they're quite literally by definition, you have none. You have none.
So and the fact that there's a big battle at camp. And of course, he may have to say that it could be one that's clearly delineated himself from the rest of the group. But that's challenging for me to have confidence.
Listen, I'm right there with you. I promise you.
You never agree with me until it's right.
I promise you, I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you're right. Okay? And this is a clear moment where I got to be with you. I got to rock out with you because, again, Virginia Tech gives me so many worries. They give me so many worries where I'm sitting here and I'm saying like, what are y'all gonna do?
I mean, beyond just who's your quarterback, but who's your
everything?
Who's on defense? Give me a player who is even on the watch list. Not even a watch. Give me a player that I can even be excited about.
A rushing game that was averaging 3.1 yards per carry last year, only in front of Boston College, who was playing with backup defensive linemen as offensive linemen at the end of the year.
That's tough.
They beat NC State while having negative rushing yards.
You know, there's just some things you don't ever want to remember, and that might be one of them for NC State.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's nasty work. Nasty work. Between that and the Miami game when Devin Leary was hot, 2 games that they never want to remember. But that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is simple. This Virginia Tech team, I'm not going to say they're in the exact same boat as Virginia. Actually, yes, I am. They're rowing on the same boat, different oars. They're rowing. They're just rowing and trying to find their way. Honestly, again, Pride has a much more outgoing and out loud personality than Tony Elliott, but both rosters, I mean, the best players from Virginia don't stay in Virginia anymore. And that's a hotbed of talent. And so, you know, you're looking at just a real tough situation as far as this goes. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. I think ultimately it's just a battle between Virginia and Virginia Tech is who wants it more, who has some pride about them, who is going to maybe have a little home field advantage, and who is going to try and figure things out in terms of deep down within looking at that man in the mirror conversations, because we don't know that the season, when it comes to them actually having to go up against each other, it'll be worth anything but pride wins and all that stuff. So I certainly am just the biggest question mark for them is, can they get through the season unscathed and it's not too terrible?
Yeah, and you know what? Let me just say this, though. That battle for the Commonwealth and all that, it means a lot to these guys.
1,000%.
It means a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it really, if you hate your school next door, it shows, and it means something.
We listen to it every time you talk about North Carolina, so I get it.
Even if you're 2 completely middle-of-the-road teams, even if you're 2 bottom feeders, doesn't matter. It means something to say, oh, yeah, I went 4-0 against those guys when I was in school. Oh, yeah, we whooped the wheels off them my senior year. Oh, yeah, it means something.
1,000%. Well, those are the slates of teams that we have this season. We've had some questions around every single program. If your program was announced and you feel a way about what we said about them, please hit us up at YouTube. Make sure that you let us nicely know how you feel about our thoughts and comments. We're here to give feedback and all that good stuff. But, Kitten, as we round out these conversations, we have all these questions. Who ultimately gets it done?
I think out of this group, Louisville is the best team. I think best player out of this group would probably be Ali Jennings from Virginia Tech. That's a bad boy out there wide out. That man, call him 7-Eleven. He's always open. And he's got that.
Do you love him more than Arande?
That's a good one. I'd have to say I'm going to take Arande because I've seen Arande against ACC competition dominate consistently. Don't get me wrong. Ali Jennings, oddly enough, torched Virginia Tech last year while playing for ODU and beat Virginia Tech. Which,
Coach Price said, I saw that and I want that.
I want him. Give me that 0 right there. Give him on here. No, but seriously, I think Ali Jennings he's different. He's not like the rest of us. But Arande Gaston has been doing this at a high level against ACC competition, being a matchup nightmare for quite some time now. So I think I give it to him.
That's fair enough. All right, when it comes to the entire landscape of the ACC, who gets it done when it's all said and done?
I think Clemson, but closer than we've seen in the past, because these ACC championship games that Clemson's played in, I mean, aside from the one with the onside kick, they have just been mollywopping teams.
Well, you did say that this, lately Clemson has basically looked human. So I think this is the year that Florida State says, hey, we're back. Knocks on that door. I
mean, hey, they need to do more than knock on the door. If you want to be thrown the chance, you got to kick that thing on down. You got to put boot to door and belt to behind when you get in there. So,
well, because of all the junk that I've talked about Jordan Travis for the past, 3 years, I think that, it's high time that I feel the hate coming. And so it would only be fitting if the Knowles fans were right there on my neck. So you got it.
I want to say this about ACC Media Days, and this is probably going to be the last thing I say. Travis and Jared, y'all know y'all wrong for not letting Deloach in on the outfits. Both of them wore burgundy suits with black shirt, black tie. And the linebacker, Caleb Deloach, is sitting there in a totally different outfit, looking crazy. I said, no.
That's a
Y'all
shame.
know y'all wrong.
So they're not in unison. All right, I might have to change my vote. I might change my vote by the time August hits and camp is all full and loaded and we have to really make picks. I reserve the right to change my mind.
I'm not mad at you for changing your mind. I'm not mad at you for changing your mind. But what I will say is this. Somebody on this show has been convinced by media day before that a team was going to be good.
Yeah, I definitely thought NC State was going to win the ACC championship, and
they
proved me wrong. Yeah.
There was another one.
Yeah, the way you picked North Carolina. So yeah.
Pick North Carolina. What I picked North Carolina?
You definitely did to win the Coastal. You definitely did.
Oh yeah, they did. I picked them to win the Coastal, and they did.
Not last year, the year before when they stunk it up and Pitt and yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't because of media days. But I digress. Okay. Somebody told me that Boston College was going to be serious because of a media day.
That's about our time, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to do it to you, but make sure you download, subscribe to the pod. You leave us some feedback, all the things. Candace Cooper and Kenny Gibbs will be back tomorrow. Until next time.